You're watching the Sporting Time Show with host Doug Thompson. Sponsored by Jewelry Barn and Pawn Shop.
Good evening and welcome to the Sporting Time Show. Doug Thompson, happy August to everyone. And of course, I've got to bring in my good friend, Brandon Phillips, who is our co-host for today's show. Brandon, how are you?
I'm doing well. Thank you for having me yet again.
It's great to see you. And first of all, I want to wish Taryn Johnson the best. Taryn has other opportunities, right?
Right.
And I want to wish him and Brittany, his brand new wife, all the success and best of luck, and certainly going to miss him here. And thankful that you are here in his place.
It's a big seat to fill.
It is, but you can fill it. You and I have known each other for a dozen years. We have done all sorts of things together, radio, TV,
That's
other
right.
things, mobile studios. And I just got to ask you one question. Are you a board member?
I know I said I think I'm just going to do a sponsor each time I come on the show for whoever I'm speaking on. But yes, I'm excited to be here. Today I'm represented by the Warren County Youth Football League. After a year off, we are back. Registration is open. That's going to be at Ephraim White this year, and it runs through August 14th. You can get more information at playwcyfl.com. Again, playwcyfl.com. After a year off, we are anxious and excited to get back. And I know a lot of the kids and families are as well.
You know, it's going to be so great. And the age groups for Little League football start
It's ages 6 to 12.
6 to 12.
Yeah, and so we're starting to think about, flag programs and some of those things that we could do because we're starting to get a lot of interest from the younger demographic as well. But if you're 6 years old, you can participate in the league on up until 12, and then at that point, you roll into middle school or junior high football. So I know we're going to talk some football today. It's football season, and Doug, I would tell you a lot of the stars of tomorrow when it comes to high school football in this area start off in the Warren County Youth Football League. So
No
it's an exciting
question about
time.
it. But I do have a little bit of a beef because I've got a 3-year-old grandson. He's ready to put a helmet on now. So let's get that age group down a little
Yeah,
bit.
well, I think he's got to work with him in the backyard on technique
Yeah.
and fundamentals, and then he'll be ready to go by the time he's 6.
By the way, just kidding. I don't want to get any mail about my 3-year-old grandson playing tackle
Say
football.
Your daughter, maybe.
I know. So it's great. Yeah. So sign the kids up. So happy that we are beyond and the kids can get back. Of course, earlier today, you and I were at the Football Media Day. Whew! I mean, what a fantastic event. 21 football teams, all talking about their programs and what's going on. I want to thank all of the coaches for participating and being a part of this, and also got to give a shout out to the Holiday Inn University Plaza. Fantastic staff there, just opened their doors and really put on a great event for us. So it was very, very good.
Yeah, and if you're looking for a top-notch breakfast in town, I highly recommend them as well. I sometimes just go over there for the breakfast.
Yeah, I listen, I don't miss many breakfasts, lunches,
really good
or
over there.
dinners myself.
Really good.
So let's transition a little bit to baseball because baseball is not over.
That's right.
I mean, it is not over. Am I going to be making another trip to Williamsport, Pennsylvania? Because I will do it in a heartbeat.
Yes, well, I think the community of Bowling Green and the friends and family of Warren County South Little League are certainly hopeful that that's the case. And so, obviously, the opportunity to play in Williamsport is not foreign to this area.
Yeah.
We've been very fortunate and very blessed with a lot of baseball talent. And Warren County South Little League plays Sunday versus Ohio in the opening round of the Great Lakes Tournament. And so they're very excited to get started. We've had an opportunity to speak with the coaches and the kids. The one thing that's a little different this year is there are no international teams coming to Williamsport due to COVID.
Right.
So if you finish as either the champion or the runner-up of the Great Lakes, you have an opportunity to go to Williamsport. And so we're really pulling for those guys here. Again, they kick off Sunday. I think it's at 9 a.m. local time versus Ohio. So it's big to get an early win up there to save that pitching because you're probably going to have to go deep with the amount of talent you see at the Great Lakes region, but definitely pulling for those guys.
Well, you and I both went to Williamsport at the same time when BG East was there, and it's just the most amazing thing. I encourage anyone that has young kids or if you just want to go to Williamsport to check it out. It is way different than what I had anticipated. It's amazing. We got about 20 seconds left. I know it was for you.
Yeah, it was back in 2019, or as I like to say, what feels like 10 years ago now with last year. But it's an incredible experience. You know, we're not sure in terms of participation from fans and who can attend this year. The numbers are limited at Great Lakes, so we'll see what happens at Williamsport. But if you have the opportunity to go, you should definitely check it out.
Yeah, it's going to be amazing. We're going to take a short break. When we come back, Max Chaney, the head football coach of Franklin Simpson High School, joins us right here on the Sporting Time Show on WNKY, NBC 40. Welcome back to the show. My guest today, you could call him Mr. Wildcat or Mr. Franklin Simpson. He played at Franklin Simpson High School. He has coached at Franklin Simpson High School as an assistant. He is the second-year head coach now of the FS Wildcats. I'd like to bring to the show Max Chaney. Coach, welcome.
Hey, thanks for having me.
You know, I think this is our first mobile in-the-car interview. We've done on the football field. We've done from somebody's office. We've done it from poolside. But nevertheless, we are glad to have you on the show. The reason you are inside the automobile is because your daughter currently is in a golf tournament at Crosswinds and doing quite well.
Yeah, it's I try to get to as many of these as I can before football really cranks up because I'm pretty non-existent after that. But she's actually, she's had the best 9-hole score she's ever had. She shot 40 on the front 9, and they moved on to the back 9. That's when I came to the truck to do this interview. So, yeah, really proud of her. She's worked really hard, and she enjoys it and loves it. And I don't want her to get too good because I won't be able to play with her anymore.
Well, probably that's not going to happen. She's going to surpass you. But what's amazing, and I learned this before we went on air, is that she's just an 8th grader, right? And she just picked up golf during COVID last year because she could do it outside. It's amazing.
Right. And it was, so, we were playing some golf. There was no football, and my dad plays golf, and I like playing golf. So she would go with us, and she kind of got into that, and we're pretty super excited about it because it got us out of dance. And so we're excited to be on the golf course.
Well, yeah, no kidding there. But congratulations, sir. We look forward to watching her play in the high school tournament as we get geared up for fall sports. And of course, you got the big Leachman Buick State Golf Championships at Bowling Green Country Club, and hopefully she can qualify either as an individual or as a team and be a part of that. But it's great to have you on, Coach. I got to ask you, and I know I asked you this briefly, I wondered if Max was short for Maximilian, and you kind of laughed and said no, it was not.
No, it's Maxwell. It's John. My dad's John Mark. I'm John Maxwell. My son's John Parker. I did have a good friend in high school named Emeritus Maximilian, but not Maximilian. I'm sorry, disappointed.
No disappointment here, but that is a pretty cool name. But let's talk a little bit about football. Tell me what you've been working on so far this year. What are the guys doing currently as they prepare for the season later on this month?
Well, first and foremost, we've been working on actual football. Last year you were in pods of 10 for a long time, and doing, football specific stuff was a drain. It was pretty difficult. So we've had a really good spring ball, which thank God we got to have that. We've had a really good summer before dead period. And I'll be honest, coming back from dead period, it is the coaches and I talked about it, probably the best group we've had. I might say since 2008, as far as being energetic, enthusiastic. There was no second, third day lull like you usually get. You come back, you start lifting, you start running. And then, in about 2 or 3 days, kids are tired and it's a bad practice. And it's the kids have been really, our guys have been really upbeat. They've been The thing that I've enjoyed the most, I've seen a lot of older guys helping out a lot of younger guys off to the side, during a break or after practice or before practice. And, when you have those kind of things going on, it's always it's just a joy to get outside and coach. So I've told them, and they know. But we're working on us. We haven't done any 7-on-7s. We run the wing tee. We don't throw the ball a lot. I know it's really good for our defense, but we have, we such a short-sighted year last year, and we put in a new defense, and we weren't very old last year. I had a freshman middle linebacker and a freshman free safety, and a lot of kids, it's the first time they'd ever been on the field on a Friday night. So we decided just to work on us, and they really responded well to it. We are definitely ready to get to hit somebody else this Friday in scrimmage. So
we're going to take a short break. We're going to take, when we come back, more with Coach Max Cheney right here on the Sporting Time Show on WNKY NBC 40. We'll be right back. Welcome back again. Max Cheney, the head football coach of the Franklin Simpson Wildcats, is my guest today. Coach, I want to go back a little bit to last year. First year head coach, of course, as I mentioned in the intro, you've been a part of Franklin Simpson your entire adult life. But last year as a first year head coach, you were dealt a hand like everybody else with the COVID and all that. This year, we seem to come out of it. Now they've got the Delta variant that we have to keep an eye on. But what are some of the significant differences between last year and today? And what do you have to do as a coach to kind of make sure that everybody is safe and sound and you can play some football?
Well, I mean, we've implemented several things as far as cleaning wise and spraying and stuff that we maybe did every once in a while, but now we do it all the time, every day, spraying down equipment, spraying down personal equipment, as well as the equipment we use during practice. Also, we're not in a mask situation yet. Hopefully we don't get there. But, we don't spend a whole lot of time in the locker room. We are actually able to spend a little more time in the locker room than we were last year, which was no time for us. I mean, we would get in pods of 10 and let them in to get dressed and get out, and get in pods of 10, let them in to get, when practice was over, get undressed and get out. So we're not there yet. And I really hope this variant calms down. Our school has hosted a vaccination clinic. It was yesterday. Everybody, I think, I forgot the age group, but let's just say 12 and over could come and get a free vaccine.
Wow.
We do have several players on the team that are vaccinated. I've given them information. Of course, you can't tell anybody you have to go get vaccinated.
Yeah.
I did get. You still got me?
Yep, we got
Sorry.
you.
I did give them information on it and where they could get it, and if we get vaccinated, possibility of getting exposure, not having to quarantine would be better. But and we've got about 15 or so that are vaccinated.
Yeah, and hopefully we kind of cruise right through all this. I want to talk to you a little bit about your starting quarterback Luke Richardson and Omar Harrison. Your starting leading running back last year. Luke really had a good year. Threw over 1,000 yards, had 6 TDs, and you said you're really not a throwing team. Omar had a really nice season. I think over 600 yards rushing. Franklin Simpson has always been known for your run game. I mean, powerful runners, fast runners. Talk a little bit about some of the new guys who are going to come up and take the place of those running backs that graduated.
Yeah, well, I mean, it's hard to take the place of a Trey Bass, a Leo Stutzman, a Tedrick Hardinger. Those guys are pretty good. We got a fullback that's going to be a senior this year. He's kind of waited his time. He got to play at the end of last year. Jayden Wells, he's done really well in camp. He's a little more explosive than some of. He's not as big, but he's a little more explosive than some of the fullbacks we've had in the past. We've got Jesse Punzlin's going to be a junior, and Landon Graves. They're both going to be splitting time at a wing back, and then Omar. and a young man named Jackson Payne are going to be at the halfback position. Omar, he's kind of an Iron Man. I mean, he never comes off the field. We try to get him breaks on special teams, but sometimes he's the best guy we have, so we put him out there. He plays offense and defense. Luke has done a great job going from I can just turn around, hand the ball off, and it's okay because Trey and Carlos and Tedrick and Leo are going to take care of it.
Right.
To in 2018 to now where he's got a lead in the huddle, he's got a lead outside the huddle, and we're going to rely on him even more. Last year was great. We had actually a Stutzman that was Leo's brother, Kiwan, and he's pretty fast. It was his first year to ever play high school football, and he was a senior, and he was the recipient of a lot of those 1,000 yards that Luke had last year in only 8 games. So, look, we don't throw a lot. We try to throw when it's time to throw, and but I like the running backs that we have as well. I'm really proud of our offensive line. We've got some undersized guys, but they're, our term we use, we got some dogs. They don't mind getting after it. So that's really good.
Coach, we got about 15 seconds left real quick. You're going to have to get your golf game up a little bit better. Your daughter's going to surpass you real quick. 10 seconds. Any messages to Brad Hood over at ACS?
Well, I just hope he's not having a bad day. He's usually pretty grumpy. And, somebody's done something wrong, and somebody's wronged him somehow. So I hope he's
Coach,
okay.
Thank you very much. Good luck this season. Thank you very much for your time. Max Cheney, Franklin Simpson High School. We're going to take a short break. When we come back, Brandon Phillips and I wrap things up right here on the Sporting Time Show. Welcome back to the show. Thank you, Coach Max Cheney, for being our guest today. Franklin Simpson, always a powerhouse and second-year head coach. You know that he's ready to get it going.
Yeah, I think when you start rolling into a program, either as a first-time head coach or it's your first time there at the school in that role, it's a great program to be a part of.
I love the message with about 10 seconds left that he gave to Brad Hood about complaining. And I think he has fired a shot that, it used to be Jeff Griffith over at Warren East.
Right.
Now Max Cheney has gotten into the mix with Brad Hood. So we got ourselves a little rivalry going on.
I just like that you poked the Bears
did.
For the media.
I did. I poked it. Speaking about rivalries, let's talk a little bit about one of the biggest rivalries that, isn't that old, Brandon, but has become quite the talking points around the water coolers for a lot of people, and that's the Bowling Green Purples and the South Warren Spartans, and it's really quite interesting.
Yeah, think about this at home. We'll give you a second to
Yes.
kind of get an answer, and then we'll circle back to this. In this series, how many times do you think they've played? So Bowling Green and South Warren, in the history and the series of this football rivalry, how many times have they played? We'll come back to that in just a second. But what's interesting,
Jeopardy
Doug,
music is playing in the background.
Playing it now.
Yeah.
So they start out, I'll give a clue. The series started, as we talked about off air, in 2017. And in that time, Bowling Green holds a slight edge. So, ready? Drum roll. 7 times. I thought it was like 10 or 12.
I would have thought so.
I thought it was more. So they've played 7 times. Bowling Green's won 4, South Warren's won 3. The interesting thing is, if you go back to 2017, it's typically when these two teams play, it's an indication of what's going to happen later on in the 5A state playoffs. So if you go back to 2017, they split the series that year. South won the playoff game. They advanced to the semi-state where they lost to Cove Cath. In 2018, they only played 1 time. South won. South goes on to win the state championship that year. 2019, they played twice. Bowling Green wins both contests, advanced to the semi-state. And then, of course, in 2020, they played twice. Again, split the series that year. Bowling Green goes on to win a state title. So you can almost ink it that when these teams play, if they play and when they play in the postseason, go ahead and move one of them into the state final or state semifinals, because that's just been the history, in the last 4 years since they've started this rivalry.
So what year was it that both teams won a state championship in different
That probably
divisions?
would have had to have been, 2000? Do you know that? Is that your trivia question? What is it?
I got my own trivia question. 2015.
Yeah,
yes.
that's what I was going to guess.
But do you remember when South Warren was in 4A, and of course Bowling Green was in 5A, and the South Warren fans were like, we want to play Bowling Green, right? And they couldn't because they weren't on the schedule there. But man, that's when it all started. It was like, we want to play Bowling Green. And of course, Bowling Green wanted to play South, but they were in different classes, and the schedules weren't made up that way. But not anymore.
Well, and the interesting thing, if you go back to 2017, they played twice that season, and in the first game, Bowling Green wins 43-7.
Yeah.
And I think most of us in the media at that time, even though we recognized how good South Warren was, there was this question making the transition to 5A, and how would they compete? And so it was a very lopsided game. But then you fast forward, that game was October 20th of 17. Fast forward to November 17th. Rematch at Bowling Green. South wins that game 28-21, and I think really kind of knocked on the door and said, yes, we're here and we can compete. And since that time, much like Franklin and Allen County and Warren East and 4A, Bowling Green and South have really just battled back and forth. And of course, Greenwood's kind of been knocking on the door as well, trying to get in the conversation.
Yeah, and you and I will talk about rivalries as we get closer to kickoff. But of course, you know, right now, you've got Mr. Veldkamp, who is committed to WKU, 6'5", 6'6" quarterback, doesn't run a ton, but man, he can roll out and he hits those little short passes. That is going to be very interesting to see that matchup. And Bowling Green's not a microwave program. They got plenty of players. They got a lot of guys who graduated, but they're going to be strong. I'm going to give you the last word. We got about 20 seconds.
Yeah, I think last year Bowling Green really did it on defense and found the offense when they had to. I think going into the series this year, Veldkamp certainly gives South Warren the edge. You expect good defense, good special teams. So who's that one playmaker at the quarterback position that could make a difference? It could be him.
Yeah, it's going to be amazing. And I do want to mention real quick, the Bowling Green Purple's broadcast network, presented by ST Livestream, will be in full strength.
Can't wait.
Strength and streams. This season. It's going to be very exciting. We're super pumped. stfanclub.com. You can also follow us on Roku, Amazon Fire TV, Facebook, whatever. But anyway, we want to thank everyone. Brandon, thank you very much for coming in again today. Be here next week, same time, same place, the Sporting Times on WNKY NBC. Have a great week. Good night.
Good night.